Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got MARU in the top right side of the map playing a Terran versus Zerg with that low ground wall off, representing Onside Gaming. And he's up against Solar, his teammate. These two always play, and it's almost always before the grand finals of every tournament. It is the onside curse. If only they could get on the opposite side of the bracket. But it seems with how these tournaments are seeded and how their respective rankings are, somehow they always end up on the same side of the same tournament. And this is the semifinals of the KSL Summer Slam. Shout out to them for hosting this big $4,500 tournament with their Patreon support they've been getting from the community to raise funds primarily for the Korean scene. We did see a few other foreign players playing in this tournament as well, but it was, of course, hosted on the Korean server. So it was mostly players like Scarlet who are actually living in Korea that did sign up. But yeah, if you want to support them, check out the link to their, just go check it out. Go Google Kickstarter, sorry, not Kickstarter, Patreon KSL, and you can see exactly where to support more of their tournaments. MARU going for a second depot hidden in the back. That's interesting. I guess this is just to try and stop an Overlord sneaking in. Zergs have gotten very sneaky with trying to get their Overlords in behind to see what the follow-up is to these 2-ranks build orders. So that's been very cool. Now, recently, we did see that Serral vs. MARU series on Neo Humanity, where Serral did a 15 hatch, 15 pull, and then he just killed both barracks with like a 2-base roach push. Like, MARU cancelled his third, looked really good for MARU, but then obviously it's like, if all your production is at the front wall off, like, this is a huge weakness. And we haven't seen it punished that much, but seeing Serral do that to MARU, it just made me think, and it kind of reminded me that, like, historically in StarCraft, we've seen periods of time where low ground wall-off gets popular, and then the Zergs kind of remember how to, within whatever that meta is at the time, how to kill it with Ravager-ling, or some form of Roach Ravager push, and just kill the barracks for free at the front. And that's such a huge weakness in the first, like, 8 minutes of the game, having 2 barracks exposed in the wall-off, that if that's something Zergs can start to find a way to kind of continually take advantage of, that's going to be a problem for this build order, because it's been around for such a long time now. There's 2 racks on the low ground. It's fascinating to see how long it's been in the meta, and we have seen Baneling busts from the like of Solar and others taking it down, and Raynor as well, but, you know, just seeing that Roach push from Serral as well makes me wonder if there's something the Zergs are going to figure out to push this 2 ranks Reaper opening out of the meta. This is a 4 racks build, by the way, so it's a very heavy Marine follow-up coming in from MARU. This is the build which initially Beyond would always do this with, like, I believe he would basically build another tech lab, make shields, and he would just pull SCVs and shove with like 25 Marines, 15 SCVs, and basically a big all-in. We saw MARU try that versus Raynor back in Sweden earlier this year, but more likely and more commonly these days, he doesn't pull the SCVs, he just goes with the Marine push, but it still is, of course, a more committed Marine push. We'll see how Solar handles it. Traditionally, the matchup between these two is Solar is the defender, MARU is the aggressor, and their series are usually very, very close, but MARU almost always wins. Solar very occasionally does take him down, something like a 20 or 25% win rate, I believe. And when he does, it's usually because MARU gets a bit too aggressive. Solar's very good at just stopping your aggression. Even if his creep gets pushed back into a tight little territory, he's often stuck on 4 base and just feels like he's surrounded by the Terran and getting swarmed. But his Lurker Hive Tech kicks in, and that's when Solar tends to take control of the game. That being said, MARU has such a good psychological advantage because he beats Solar so much. Solar doesn't look as patient. When he does get to, like, Hive Tech or finally gets a chance to strike, Solar looks a little bit desperate versus MARU. So I think it's that fear of MARU's late game where sometimes Solar feels a little bit more eager, and I would actually call it over-eager to get damage done. Now, you can see those Lings. Oh, is that a trap? He's leaving the door open on purpose. He wanted the Lings to run in there, I think. Hiding his Marine numbers for now. He's got so many Marines, but he's not pushing out. MARU's taking a long time to push right now. Finally, he is moving out. Oh, very nicely done. Solar sees it. Solar's a beast, man. Okay, Solar's making Lings. He's got 52 drones. This is a solid 15 worker lead. He's also got this Overlord out here. So he's going to see exactly where these units are. I mean, this is very good positioning so far. Solar should have pulled this Overlord back. Unfortunately, that's going to be a freebie. But he's going to have 40 Lings and 8 Queens. The problem is that's a big ball of Stim Marines with combat shields. So you need to properly surround that with Lings in order to effectively fight it with Zerglings. If you attack from one side, the Marines can still, in a big ball, basically just gun down those Zerglings and start a step away from the Zerglings, and then whenever the Zerglings disengage, they can start a step towards the Queens. You got to be really careful here as Solar. That being said, he's respecting it. He's making like 70 Zerglings right now. That's a lot of Zerglings in production. And MARU is happy to just take that. He's like, no, I'm not going to commit on creep. I know you saw this early enough. I think if the Zergling didn't see those extra Marines coming out, he might have committed more. But because he got spotted early, he knows that Solar knows how to respond, and it's a third command center behind it. He's up to 4 barracks, or the same 4 barracks. He's building more reactors, though. +1 weapons is on the way. And it looks like we are going to be seeing an interesting setup, because only single engineering bay. I guess we'll probably see second engineering bay and armory going down in a few seconds. That's usually the next little piece of the puzzle here. But he needs to start it soon, because already you need that armory, or you're not going to be able to start +2 attack on time. Behind it, Lair and Baneling Nest on the way for Solar, who's gone for a super fast double upgrade. So he's actually going to be ahead on those upgrades, even though he's a little behind the +1 attack. He's going to be way ahead with the armor upgrade. 4th hatchery goes down on the south. Solar never one to rush that 4th base. But these first couple of fights are going to need to be maybe not super clean for him, but it definitely needs to be something which doesn't spiral out of control. Single Marine spots that 4th base timing. No Banelings morph just yet, because the Baneling Nest has literally just finished. And there we go. The first 11 Banelings are morphing. Baneling speed starts. Queen's coming forward. They're going to try and maybe push this back. Probably replace a little bit of creep. I like that. Very cautiously. Just puts a tumor down. Doesn't want to like accidentally get his Queens all sniped down. And behind it, the Armory, second Engineering Bay are on the way. Now, this is a bit weird to me. Oh, he's actually going Widow Mines. I was going to say, isn't the factory going to swap over? Why is this barracks building its own reactor? But actually, he's going Widow Mines, which I love. And he's going to go for a very early 4th command center. Is that what that is? Or maybe he's just left that behind. Okay, no, it's a second factory. I was like, what is this SCV up to in the main? We've seen MARU swap to late game play and play that late game 4th command center sometimes recently. But he's not going to do it this time. 1-1 upgrades kicking in, though, for Solar. 30 seconds still Baneling speed. And MARU's going to look to delay the creep, but he's really not done too much to Solar. That being said, I mean, look at the income. Solar's work account's stuck on 60 for a long time. He initially got scared on 52 drones, had to build 70 Zerglings. And since then, he's only squeezed out about 10, 12 more workers at most. Widowmine drop coming in the left side. MARU. Oh, MARU's being a naughty boy. Oh, no, Solar's not watching. Oh, 10 drones go down already. Okay. Solar does react in the third. And on the natural, looks like he will spread backwards. The drones there, as well as the Queens, going to be doing okay. Only loses 2 drones, as well as a few lava. Not too bad. And Solar going to do a fancy spore trick? No, he will not. All right, that does get shut down eventually, but 13 drones have fallen, and Solar's not replacing them quite as quickly as I thought he would. There we go. 8 more drones are on the way, so he's going to be popping back up to 70 workers. He has such a big Ling Bane army out that I think he's okay to just chill for the moment. But the Biomine Parade is going to start. And I've always said that when MARU plays Biomine and he's in Solar's face from start to finish, it feels like Solar cannot keep up with him. That being said, MARU's taken so long to start trading this game. I don't know if he's got that momentum going. Oh, picks up at the last second. Very nicely done. Widowmine on the right side takes out 1 or 2 Banelings, as well as those Queens. Sporecrawler in the main is going to damage the Medivacs, but not too bad, as the Marines and Reapers will take out that Sporecrawler just before it takes out the Medivac. There we go. A couple Overlords in the south could be picked off. A few more Widowmines and Marines down there. Massive run by tries to come in, but MARU, good little SimCity positioning, choking that all up. Oh, MARU accidentally sends 2 Medivacs straight through the Queens. These Widowmines are also kind of going forward unsupported right now. I would love to see Solar take advantage of those. He does have Overlord speed and Overseers right now. Queen gets taken out by the Widowmines. Solar needs to get on top of this. There's more Widowmines behind. He's got to watch out. He's got to watch out for those Widowmines. Oh, that's a decent Widowmine there. Does take out 11 Zerglings. Lots of Banelings ready in the top of the map as well. 3 more barracks and a 4th command center on the way here from MARU. His Drilling Claws has now completed. And his 2-2 upgrades, well, his +2 armor's just started, but his +2 attack's almost finished, lining up with the 2-2 of the Zerg. Infestation Pit's on the way, telling us Solar is going to go for that Hive Tech. This drop does get out. It's a secondary Widowmine drop in here. It looks like he didn't get anything in the natural, though, and didn't really kill much up there, so Solar handled that way very well. Oh, MARU's third, undefended. Trying to spread out these Widowmines. I like the way Solar split 3 Banelings to blow up each of those Widowmines, so they didn't get a chance to fire. This is pretty decent damage, just kind of obstructing the mining for now. That being said, this could do tons. Oh, the Hydra upgrade's getting denied. Muscular Augment's 1 second from completing, does get denied there. He's attacking that low ground 4th base as well. The Widow Mines are going to take out a few of these. That's a lot of Widow Mines. He's going to need to just roll some Banes into this. Solar right now low on Banelings. He's only got 8 Banelings. That being said, Maru's army is kind of small. The Widow Mines do a little bit of friendly fire, but they do clear that front wave of Ling Bane. And oh, Solar takes a big juicy Widow Mine to the face. 22 kill Widow Mine. Another Widow Mine does come forward, and you really don't want to let Maru just sit here on the edge of your base like this. Hydra Den being restarted. The Hive has not started making, and it does feel like Solar doesn't have that much money. That being said, Maru's supply is so low. I thought he would have a little bit more behind this, but it seems like both sides are locked in a very, very much battle for momentum. It's not like this 4th has been up for very long. It's really just landed, and even though Maru has the better work count, his supply is starting to climb ahead. He doesn't have that overwhelming force just yet. On the other hand, though, the way he's working this drop angle and then redropping the low ground is amazing. Look at this. He just drops the high ground, drops the low ground. The Hydras are there, though, so he's kind of cornered. But look at how much army it's taking Solar to do that. This opens up the north side. Maru's shoving there with more Marine Widow Mine. And Solar's going to have to split his army up there. He can't just stay here. Oh, God, Maru! Maru throws away a full medevac there. Big mistake for him, but he dives in the top, gets a few drones as well. Spore Crawler going to try and root on top of that drop. Brave moves for Solar, but not not able to get right on top. Marines back inside the main base. Feels to me like Solar's struggling. He's got 3 different army groups right now, and it's Maru who's completely untouched at home. He's able to just kind of bleed him down a little bit. Marauder production coming in, plus 3 weapons as well. Hive is almost completed, but no Lurker Den started just yet, so I think it's just going to be Hydra, Ling Bane, Viper. Now, the Vipers, obviously, with Parasitic Bombs, start to get you efficiency and value. The units lost tab is about 3,000 resources in favor of Maru so far, and that's not great for Solar, but it's not terrible either. We're used to seeing Solar in this sort of scenario. The only problem I have for Solar right now is that his worker count is 76. He's not comfortable up at the 85 workers, where I feel like he can bounce back from just about anything. That Widow Mine also gets shut down. Great handling. You push on the bottom right. A tank, 4 mines, and a pack of Marine Marauder. Maru seems so confident just moving these little chunks of army. He doesn't even have medevacs for these units. This tells you a lot about the meta between these two. Maru is able to take riskier moves than he can versus other Zergs because Solar's so defensive. Those Marines were very damaged. A lot of them actually get picked off by just a handful of Zerglings. Solar defends that drop perfectly. And Maru definitely should not have been dropping there with those Marines. They were too damaged inside those medevacs. They needed to get back to heal. He's trying to bait right now. Solar into the Widow Mines. Good Ling spready. There we go. Oh, he's got to spread away, though. That Widow Mine on the right still gets a pretty good shot. The Hydras are here. The tank goes down. Maru's going to pick up some Marines into the main. He's got a new attack on the top side as well. First Viper is out. Second Viper on the way. 3-3 upgrades are on the way. The Grooved Spines upgrade is about to complete, which means finally these Hydralisks, having those upgrades nerfed for so long because of the Hydra getting sniped, finally they're getting up, and the Hydras are actually a properly upgraded unit. Keep in mind they've only got +1 range though. Oh, the Lings, I feel like are coming forward in a little bit more of a clump than you expect from a guy of Solar's caliber. Those Widow Mines are punishing him, but if he can just get on top, Maru does have a tendency to stay a little bit too long sometimes in these fights. Oh my god, so many Banelings just went down to that shot. Oh my lord. Please don't do that again. Oh, Solar. I mean, he's got control of his side of the map. Yes, his unit's lost tab sucks. Yes, Maru's income is insane, but Maru doesn't have an Iron Bank just yet. Oh, another Widow Mine. Oh, man. So I'm talking about when Maru decides to open up a series with Widow Mines versus Solar, I think it's so hard for Solar to deal with. It's just difficult. He's by no means out of this, but look, Maru's going, okay, I've got a 5th command center going up there. He'll make another planetary there. These ones should be orbital command centers. He shouldn't try to take a planetary on the bottom at the same time. That would be... Actually, I think on this map, both Maru and Clem like to play pure Biomine Ghost. Maybe mix a few tanks in occasionally, but it's meant to be a mobile swarming style where you're essentially drowning the Zerg in a swarm of Terran units. And you know what? Getting this 4th base, that could be game-ending. Solar does not have a new 4th base up. This 5th in the top is not rebuilt. And I don't think Solar can replace these units unless he gets an amazing fight very soon. Maru's got more armies coming in behind this. This army tries to jump forward on the south. Solar trying to break through. He will get rid of those tanks and push him back. But, as always, there's a Widow Mine waiting. It's going to get a giant number of Zerglin kills. That Widow Mine has 34 kills in total now. Viper Hydra does end up taking out most of this army in the north, but the Vipers have to go back to get more energy. And remember, the income is not there. Solar does not have a 4th base mining. Maru's on 5 bases, and Solar is simply out of steam. And he just got bled dry by all those Widow Mine shots. Great play by Maru. Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got Onside Gaming's Maru in the bottom right side of the map. And he is up a game. Solar in the top left. It's Dragon Scales. I feel like Maru... that last game is a great example of how he adapts to Solar. Solar is so defensive that you see Maru just grab, like, here's 10 Marines, 2 Marauders, a Widow Mine, 2 Widow Mines, and 2 tanks. And I'm just going to walk them across the map and siege them up. And you're like, isn't Lingbane Hydra a way more scary mobile army? And you're like, yes. So couldn't that army just get jumped on and killed? And you're like, yep. But he knows that Solar's kind of pinned back in his cage. And he knows that Solar often gets stuck in a very defensive, ultra-safe mindset versus him. And then Maru starts just taking bigger and bigger risks. And this is something that happens when you have that psychological advantage over your opponent. I've had this in many, many years ago when I was still competing, where I'd be playing against someone in a tournament where like, oh, I beat this player like 80-90% of the time we play. And I know that for them, it's very like stressful thinking about how they can beat me. And I just kind of do something a little bit risky and random. I do like I wouldn't even fully understand on a conscious level what it is. I just feel like maybe a Bane Bust will work this game. And I go to a Bane Bust, and it blows them up. It's kind of random, and it was a bit inefficient, but it works out. And, you know, they'll be talking after the game, and be like, man, is this because you scouted me, and you saw this, and you thought there was this weakness? You know, like, for them, it's like they're trying to play this 3, 4-dimensional chess of anticipating builds, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Honestly, like, I just felt like doing a random Bane Bust. I, like, haven't practiced that at all. It just felt like maybe it would work. There's this freedom of when you feel like you're the favorite, you feel like you can be a bit more loose in your play. We don't see Maru open up that sort of straight up just Widow Mine overwhelming play very often. Or very rarely does he try that style against a Serral or a Reyna like he did in that last game. But because he knows that Solar is going to try to just, lock up tight defensively and isn't going to probe him too much with any Ling Run buys, no big, I'm going to shove 50 Banelings across the map at you. Maru's like, I can have every unit on the map at all times, harassing you from multiple sides. I can just poke my drops around. You never play Mutalisks, so I don't need to really worry about that. And, like, it feels like Maru is just comfortably taking these risks. And you're like, but wait, what if this happened? Wouldn't you be hurt by this or this or this? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to take that risk, number one. Number two, I don't think you're going to be doing those things that punish me. So it's always hard when you get into a state where you always lose to an opponent to break that pattern and to start figuring them out. Because often what you see is the player who's the underdog actually starts playing better than the other player in quite a few ways in terms of like fundamentals and things. And you're like, oh, they should actually be winning this. But sometimes they trip over their own feet a little. Now, I don't think Solar's at that point of not knowing how to beat Maru at all. But I definitely do feel there's a bit of that momentum. Oh, nice focus fire. The grenades there from Maru, a bit ambitious. Actually bounced the Queen towards his Reaper. And that got focused down. So really well done by Solar. Great focus fire. Has a nice quick third hatchery on the way. And he's droning hard. Only built 10 Zerglings. I think this is a good start for Solar in this game. Oh, careful. You don't want to lose a Queen, though. But he gets a Reaper at least. So you lose a Queen, which is a bummer, but you've killed 2 Reapers. The Reaper pressure's essentially shut down. And behind this, Solar going to drop some smack talk. Anyone who speaks Korean, please let me know the translation of that. If anyone's in the Twitch chat who could read Hangul. We've got a 3rd command center and a factory and a starbuck. This is a nice greedy follow-up. Notice he hasn't really been making Marines. These add-ons even were delayed till after the 3rd command center and the factory and the 2nd gas were started. So this is the I'm going to play super economic in the follow-up sort of version for Maru. That gives Solar many minutes of freedom in terms of being able to just drone up and do whatever he wants. So as long as he hits his creep tumor timings and his injects correctly, which at Solar you know he will do that, I think he'll come out into the mid game with a bit of an advantage. Unfortunately, he did fly that Overlord in a little bit deep. After seeing the 3rd command center, he probably could have got back to the edge of the map. And actually, he's going to get to safety anyway. If he goes straight right, yeah, he's safe. Oh, no. Another Marine came out of the barracks. Oh, he barely gets out. Okay, good job. Solar keeps it alive. Nicely done. Apparently people call that, what we were describing earlier, the concept of playing up or down to your competition. Coaches have warned you about that, according to Don't Daze Me. It's definitely an issue a lot of players have is, I always say, like, there's this weird thing where it's like, people are like, well, this guy is the underdog. Why doesn't he just cheese? Because obviously he can't beat him in a straight-up game. But if you're playing different to your best style, if you're trying to just use tricks, number one, how are you going to get better, and how are you going to get the experience to beat that better player? And on the other hand, when you just try to all in, you know, there'll be people on the other side who are going, well, why'd you just all in? You're never gonna, yeah, like you've always got people who are like, well, you shouldn't just play straight up until you're better in the macro game. And then there'll be people who say, oh, you know, you should do the opposite. You should cheese every game, and or you should macro every game to get the experience. But each player's got to pick their own path to improvement. Oh, the Widowmines do take out the Queen. It's not the worst thing ever. A bit of mining time and a Queen. Widowmine drop does manage to start tracking onto that Queen as well. You don't really want to sacrifice Queens for this. Solar, what's going on, mate? You want to take one Widowmine with the Queen and then pull it back. The first Queen was understandable because he took, you know, the splash from it and stuff. But definitely should have pulled a drone in for that one. I mean, at least he shuts it down pretty quickly, which is something. But the double drop's right behind it. We've seen this play many times with this double drop in the corner on this specific map. Finds big damage. The Lings are out of position. There's only 6 Queens on the map. But you know what? I think he's got enough. I think Solar should be able to push this back. The Lings are just going to YOLO it. And Maru doesn't want to start a step at all. He just says, no, let's just get out. Too many Lings. Picks up. If you can get back to the low ground and deny the 4th, that would be massive. The Queens are going to need to stay on the high ground to stop the rotation. Otherwise, he's just going to be running around chasing his own tail. The Marines are heavily damaged, so I think the Lings can deal with this on their own. And yeah, Maru realizes that with how much damage he's taken, it's not going to work. Widowmines do manage to take out 2 drones there. You know what? Solar defends okay. He's still got a 7 worker advantage. I thought he'd be a little more in control of the game, like I said, with his, you know, the amount of room he was given from Maru between the Reaper pressure and the double drop Widowmine pressure. Snipes down a bunch of creep tumors, which seems really effective until you see Solar just respread those tumors. He there we go. He does respread at least a few of them on the far left. Spore Crawler needs to get down there after this wave, but I think Maru's going to go after it. Queen and a few Zerglings going to go after this, and it looks like Maru, once again, those Marines heavily damaged, has to back away for now. But he's got 3 more barracks on the way out front. That is a clear sign of an 8 Arax build. Armory's on the way. He's only started +1 attack. He forgot +1 armor. Maru playing a little sloppier this game. You can tell he's feeling like he needs to get a lot of damage done on the front, which is why he was shoving in so early with these Marines. But because of that, they weren't really getting time to heal between each wave. We'll see what happens. Oh! Marines pulling on back. Here we go. Units moving to the right side. Scan, clearing up the creep tumors. Creep tumors go down, as does the Overlord. A few Banelings do go down. Going to double pick up to the right. There's a hatchery in the top right that's very exposed. If Maru finds it, I don't think Solar can defend that top right hatchery. But 4 bases is usually all Solar needs for the first 10 to 12 minutes of this game. He doesn't really need the 5th base. If Solar gets away with the 5th base, he is a force to be reckoned with. But as always, the 5th base gets cancelled. Maru's got 15 Marines. He went, whoa, he went. Okay, guys, we have 7 reactors. Look at that. 3 reactors on those barracks, 3 in the main, and 1 in the natural. Oh, my lord. But Maru's forgotten his +2 weapons. Okay, he's got +2 now started up. Does lose a bunch of Marines to the Banelings on the right side. This is a gigantic all-in. If Solar does nothing but make Sling Bane, I think he can win this game. But I don't think Solar has any idea what's happening. He did see barracks at the front with reactors. That may tip him off. That's so rare to see barracks at the front with reactors. That's so rare. He should know this is a mass Marine tank play. He's building a few more drones, 2-2 Overlord speed. No more drones than that, Solar. If you make any more drones than that, you're going to be in trouble. It's a 66 worker play. I know it says 67. Basically, it's 3 bases of workers, no 4th command center, no Widowmines. There's no follow through for Maru. Maru basically has a ridiculous amount of Marines. He's got 1 push with siege tanks, and then he's got no more siege tanks behind it because they're only building 1 at a time. He can't replenish this push. It's going to move out now. He has to go. Maru's already getting close to max. He's at 170 supply, and there we go. He's got to go right now. Double drop or triple drop even in the main is going to distract. This is really good. This might allow him to get across the map, and if he can siege up deep in Solar's territory before Solar gets to slowing him down, that's going to help him. And look at this. He's going to get his tank sieged here already before Solar's out there. Solar pulled his whole army back for this drop. That's the power of a triple drop. It's such a big amount of Marines, it scares the Zerg. And now look at this. The tanks are getting that killer position up the center of Dragon Scales. Solar needs to backstab, and he's realizing it. He's sending Lingbane down the right. He's going to try and push back these Marines, but look at this. There's already a tank so deep in his territory. The Marines up front not watching. Oh, Maru does lose a pack of Marines up front. That tank's going to go down as well. These SCVs need to evacuate. Baneling's going to go after those depots. They're going to go right into that mineral line, and they get a big juicy hit. 9 SCVs go down. Solar getting a great angle with the Lings there. Meanwhile, Marines do clear that base. Solar wisely just backs off, though, and he cleans up a bunch more Marines in front. Solar is handling this so well, but I'd like to see him split another half of his army to intercept the reinforcements and hit that base again. Because you cannot let the Terran rally across the map. If you let someone rally across the map, you're just letting them set up such a big army in a good position on the front. It's very scary. Solar. Oh my god, Solar, what are we doing? Solar does take a big volley there, but he does pull back relatively quickly. Not too bad. He clears up the third base, and he's clearing up 3 of the barracks as well. This is a huge move for Solar. MARU shoving with reckless abandon. Something which the confident players often get away with, but Solar says, mate, that's too confident. That there is what I would call cocky. He's got mass Baneling. He's got a Viper out as well. I don't know where that Viper is, guys. Does it have energy? Yeah, it's going to have a Blinding Cloud, and even one Blinding Cloud on these tanks could really help out, but he's going to pull the trigger right now. Solar going for it. Ling Bane coming in from all sides. The Banelings need to find the Marines. The Lings need to find the tanks, but oh my god. Oh my god, the Marines. There was so many on the south. MARU had such a good position. Most of the Banelings went up here and here, and the Marines were waiting down south, off creep, behind the tanks, and that, I think, is enough to overwhelm MARU, you nasty boy. Gets him with the 8 racks. GG, well played. I think the biggest mistake in this game for Solar, and this is also MARU doing something that is either batshit crazy or god tier smart, is this point here. Basically, Solar could have just A-moved this army because MARU's unsieged. But Solar takes a tank shot, and from his vision, there's 3 more tanks back here. And he's like, well, I'm not going to chase into that. That would be dumb. But MARU literally has unsieged his whole army. And then he does siege here. But then he's like, yeah, okay, YOLO. And then he just unsieges all of his tanks, and he just shoves them forward in vision of Solar's creep. And this is where, hands down, Solar needed to punish him by A-moving. Lings surround these 3 tanks for free and kill them. Banelings chase the Marines back. If MARU's quick enough, he doesn't lose many Marines, but he loses the 3 tanks. You pull back. You got to start clearing this up. You can't be letting him do this. Remember, Solar already screwed up by pulling his whole army back for the triple drop at the start. That allowed MARU to take this position with his tanks uncontested. Whereas normally you want to force him to siege up here, force him to siege up here, force him to slowly walk forward. That gives you time to get these backstabs going, to get the surrounds going, to work your way around the flanks. But Solar let MARU advance too quickly. And people will say, well, siege tanks are Imba, lurkers are Imba, disruptors are Imba. If you let an opponent siege up siege units outside your base in front of choke points, things get very bad for you very quickly. GG, well played. All right, guys, going into game 3, MARU looking for the 3-0 straight path to those grand finals. It's Gresfin. It's a good map for him. Solar's going to be going out there for a 3rd base nice and early. Did I say Cyril? I meant Solar. You guys know what I mean. All Zergs look the same. It's Raylar, Errol. Raynor, Cyril, Solar, Dark, Rogue all combined. We still talk about Rogue even though he's been in the military for a while. Nice Reaper movement. That's really annoying, man. Yeah, lots of damage, but good micro by Solar. Didn't lose anything. And he's going to inject the natural. Notice this queen spreading creep, connecting the bases so the queens can rotate. And the Overlord sees the Reapers go north. He starts going north and then makes his way back down to the natural. Well done. Oh, MARU is on Pervert Patrol. He says, no watching my little SCV children mine. That's creepy, man. Oh, good pullback. Solar barely saving that Zergling. Does take 1 Marine a while to kill the Overlord, and it's also a very dumb unit, so that Overlord will make it to safety. At least pushes the vision back, but well done by Solar. Oh, Reapers are doing all right. Now, remember, Clem recently actually built a lot of Reapers. He was going 4 Reaper and 5 Reaper openings just to mix it up, and I actually really liked the way he did that. I really thought that was very cool. It's interesting to see the Koreans are still set on 3. Now, I was wondering why. I was like, wow, I like the mixing up the momentum. People were pointing out that it's divisions of 3 that one-shot drones and Zerglings. Oh, he gets a Queen again! And doesn't lose a Reaper this time. Better opening for MARU. Very nicely done for MARU. Wait. Solar's still mining gas. This guy, Solar's mined a lot of gas. He's dropping a Baneling nest right now. Oh, Solar's going to do a Baneling bust. He's got 29 drones. He's going to try a 29 drone Baneling bust. He wants to trap these Reapers right now, but look at that positioning. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. The Lings. Does he get him? Okay, he's got just enough Lings. He gets it. Nice split for Solar. He cleans it up. MARU's blind right now. And he has no idea because he's like, oh yeah, you built like 16 Zerglings maybe at most. Oh, it's not too crazy. And there's this whole thing we were talking about earlier about the natural is weak, guys. Look at that. 2 wide open positions. It was a 3rd command center into a reacted factory. If he builds Hellions right now, he's okay, but they never build Hellions here. Oh, he's building Hellions. He might be okay. It's going to be tough, but the Banelings haven't started morphing, which means at least 2 Hellions will be out. Those Hellions will have a lot of heavy lifting to do. The problem is the barracks are going to get overrun, so it's really just going to be Hellions, and there's no backup wall on the high ground, because those 2 depots are all you need with the 3rd command center build. That provides so much supply. It is 8 Banelings. 5 of those are going to blow up the depot, and here we go. Solar's going for it. The depot's down, Maru. Okay, gets it back up at the last second. The Marines are a little clumped, though. Oh my god, don't get those Hellions surrounded. He gets the Hellions surrounded. He focused the Banelings, which does keep the Marines alive for a little bit. The Hellions are going down. The Marines there. He tries to pull the SCVs, but that one Waddly Baneling comes in and just shoots his caustic load all over those Marines and SCVs. That is devastating. Very well done. Ooh-wee. Oh, very nicely done. Solar does get a win there and says, how dare you keep playing so greedy, Maru. No 3-0 for you, mate. All right, guys, Maru, he always brings this out, especially against Solar. It's the double proxy racks down that far, deep right side. Luckily for him, Solar is not scouting in that direction. He's scouting straight across with the first Overlord. Second Overlord is going out front his base, and it's a hatchery first. Now, remember, this particular build is one of the reasons why 15 hatch 15 pool is actually so solid. And the reason for that, massive thank you, Drone. I'm going to give you a crazy shout out after this game. Thank you. One of the biggest reasons is because not only is that a solid opening where you get your queens out early, defends you from, Reapers nicely, you get more drones out earlier. It's just a good opening. Gives you some good 2-base aggressive options. It also shuts down builds like this because your spawning pool finishes like 12 seconds faster. Your queens are out 12 seconds faster. Your Zerglings can be built 12 seconds faster. All of that is such an advantage. And this is actually, oh, sorry, it's a gas. He's going 2 racks Reaper. It's a 2 racks proxy Reaper. And even more so, 15 hatch 15 pool shuts down this build. But this is why it's so scary. I think that Cyril mixes that 15 hatch 15 pool in a lot now because he's doing it like 30-40% of the time. So doing a build like this becomes extra risky against Cyril. Even though it's a solid macro build for Cyril, it also counters this sort of build. Solar, though, is not doing it. Bunker's going to go up at the front. He's trying to get him to pull a bunch of drones down to waste a lot of mining time. Solar has not reacted like that yet, though, because he hasn't seen a Marine. He's going to pull a few drones, but that means they're going to be away from that natural. Where's the second queen? Second queen starts up in the natural a little late, and here we go. He's going to have to do some good drone micro. The Reaper's already in there causing a ruckus. One drone goes down. Meanwhile, drone is stopping the SCV from building the bunker for now, but for how much longer? Solar's got to get out of there. Spinecrawler's building. Oh god, Solar's got to just hide these weak drones in the back. This is a very stressful scenario, but you know what? He only lost 1 drone so far. That could have been worse. The Reapers are very good versus the Zerglings, though. There's still 10 seconds till this queen pops out, and that is a big issue. More Zerglings falling. The Spinecrawler gets cancelled there, but that might be a mistake because, oh man, these Reapers are going to have a little bit of a party. More Lings are on the way. Looks like so far we've had 2 drones, 4 Lings go down. The Queens are now out, and they are saving energy for transfuse. They realize Mass Reaper can get out of control. Ooh, okay. Queen taking a lot of damage. She's taking a lot of damage. You cannot lose that Queen. Soul's going to inject with a... The other queen will save up transfuse energy. No, he's going to put a creep streamer down. I think I would have preferred a transfuse there. Oh my god, the Reaper's getting 2 more drones there. Very nice. 4 drones, 5 Lings in total. There is 2 Lings on the other side of the map. They got inside the base, but they're going to get surrounded. Solar. Unfortunate. He could have wasted a lot more mining time. Still good to get them off mining, but Command Center does start up on the high ground. The factory is almost finished. This is going to be a big tech advantage for Maru. He's still building Reapers here. And of course, Solar down at 17 drones with 2 queens, or 3 queens now. He's got to desperately re-drone. His link speed's almost done. He's pulled off gas. He needs to drone up this expansion and catch up on the economy. You can do it because that expansion's so late for Terran. The problem is, how do you do that and also deal with the Reaper Hellion, whatever, Banshee or Medevac units come out? It's the follow-up tech being so far ahead for the Terran that makes this very difficult to deal with. Ooh, here we go. Queen's starting to shoot that barracks as well. Ooh. And speed is, of course, done. Oh! Oh my god, the Reaper's almost got himself trapped on the ramp. But, yeah, barracks will start burning soon. Once it gets to 333 hit points is the burning point. And it's burning. There we go. 1/3 hit points is when Terran structures do start burning, gang. Third command center, or third hatchery, sorry, on the left side. You can see still not back on gas. Just 3 queens. Yes, his worker counts ahead as Solar's, but it's meant to be ahead in this matchup. And this is where things get scary. Wait, Armory Widow Mine drops? Really, Maru? Really? Okay, this is such a build order that I always question in this matchup. But if you look at how the Widow Mine drops did in game 1 and 2 and how well all the Widow Mines did in general against Solar this series, yeah, Solar's only had about maybe a 40% successful shutdown on the Widow Mine drops. He's struggled to handle the chaos of it. So definitely it's something which Solar is not looking too confident against on this particular day. Spore Crawler going down will help out. It's good that'll be finished just in time. Solar's up 13 workers, which is very nice. Third command center has not started for Maru. He's going more Hellions and more Libs. The Hellion Reaper is going to get out of control. Roach Warren's on the way, but it's just started. It's not ready yet. Okay, one of these Widow Mines will go down. What? It got burrowed? Oh, it gets 3 drones. I did not expect that. The Widow Mines do take out a few Lings as well. That's okay. He can either just tank that with a Queen or something else. And nicely done. He does need a Spore Crawler here, though. Solar needs a Spore Crawler in the natural as well. He's not building it. He does not have a lair started. The Widow Mine does go down. Is he just going to move the Spore over? Okay, he's going to move the Spore. He should just root it up here, just so it's in vision, and he's going to do so. Okay, you know what, guys? Solar handled that okay. And his Roach Warren's done. If he makes a pack of Roaches now, I think he's fine. And actually, it's just a Hellion drop. He's not even using his Reapers. If he used the Reapers and the Hellions together, I feel like Solar would be in so much trouble trying to defend from that. But instead, he's just going for a little drippy droppy. The Queen's coming up right. Where are the Queens? Queens are a little slow. Looks like they were out front the natural, which is why they weren't here in time. Oh, the Lings get some good damage. Really well done there. There's only 2 Hellbats left. And the Lings are going to focus that down. Yeah, gets the medevac as well. Dude, Solar's on a roll. Solar's absolutely back in this game. He's got 9 more drones building. Liberator does come in from behind in the rear with a Concord cannon. And that's going to hurt Solar. He's going to lose 3 or 4 workers here. Oh, good Spore trick on that one. But unfortunately, the other one was just barely in range. Third base doesn't have a Spore or a Queen behind it. Solar's going to have to clean that defense up. That Liberator's going to get a real nasty siege. He might be able to get the Queen, I think, on the right side. No, wrong side. Needs to get on the right side if he wants to hit that Liberator. Oh, Maru's being a naughty boy. And he's going for the Reaper jumping. Okay, this is a YOLO move. But there's so few Zerglings left alive. It's going to work. The Reaper YOLO. This is what I'm talking about. Maru just doing weird, crazy things. If there was any more Lings out, these Reapers would get shut down and killed. But he gets 3-4 more drones. Distracts as well. Solar handles it. I thought that was that break point where Solar's going to crumble and make a big mistake. But dude, those Reapers moving in was a super risky move. It works out okay. He does get some damage, does Maru. And remember, he's got a 3rd command center up behind us. It's just finished. He's got barracks and upgrades and all that stuff starting. It's a sloppy macro game, but he's making it very sloppy for Solar as well. Nice transfuses for Solar. His Lings are going to shut down at least 1 or 2 of these Reapers. But man, Maru's being a nuisance right now. Oh, I love this, guys. Look at this move. No, that was an accident. Never mind. I thought he was sending a fake double drop just to scare Solar, even though he doesn't have enough units to get inside the dropship. Solar sees the medevacs, so he's going to hide this Overlord, knowing Maru's going to come over to kill it in a moment. Solar gets to safety. Nicely done. 5 barracks are up for Maru. He's got +1 attack started. No +1 armor. Keeps getting Forgetting today. Forgetting. Man, that's become like almost a word in my vocabulary. It's when I get so excited. Obviously, forgotten is what I'm trying to say. I'm just impressed that Solar weathered the storm. That was a pretty chaotic early game. He handled this really well. He's playing Mass Roach now. He's got the double Evo upgrades on the way. Worker advantage seems decent. No 4th base, though, and that does... And the upgrades are very late. No 4th and late upgrades is kind of going to force Solar to play Infestation Pit in the near future. Otherwise, he's going to put himself in a corner. He needs to play to Hive Tech. He gets a Spore, loses a Marine or 2, not too bad. Oh, but he drops a 4th right in front of the double drop. Well, talk about giving Maru a bit of a freebie there. He does start the Infestation Pit, and he's going to take the central base, which is one of the most exposed hatcheries on this map. I'm okay with it because he's playing Roach Ravager, and the top left base is kind of very droppable, so fair enough. I think this is all right. He's got 1/1 upgrades, Infestation Pit's halfway done. And I do wonder, though, is this going to be like the quick Broodlord timing that Dark has been mixing in? And we see the answer. No, it is not. Dark hasn't really pulled that off recently. Whenever he's tried it versus like Cure and stuff, it kind of just... It looks kind of like it's going to work, and then he just gets overwhelmed. Going Roach Ravager into Broodlords is always awkward because your upgrades are all wrong. Instead, Hydra Den for Lurker Viper is a bit better, but it looks like he's skipping the Infestors, and that does give Maru the ability to shark around with these drops and look for damage. in ways which, of course, fungal growth would punish very hard. You can see there the damage output of the Marines, even though they're very fragile, they just pick off a few roaches and run away. Fourth command center is going up in the side of the main as well. Maru's prepping for late game. He's got a second factory on the way. He's already pumping out of 5 barracks. He's got vehicle weapons. He's finally remembered +1 armor along with his +2 attack upgrades. And continuing to just pick off whatever units he can. Solar does eat a few of his own corrosive biles. Not the end of the world, though, as long as those Ravagers have another minute or so. They will mostly regenerate those life points, those hit points that got taken down. Yeah, I've forgotten the word forgot. I've forgotten the word forgotten sometimes, guys. It's a bit of a special one. It's a pig special. Don't eat bacon, guys. It's not just about heart disease. It rots your brain. Marines going up the right. We've got a hatchery there. Looking a bit exposed. Solar's supply not that impressive, but if he can get to the Viper Lurker, I think he'll be fine. He's going to just give that hatchery up. Oh man, that left side as well. Oh no, he's so worried about that drop in the main. Yeah, this hatchery on the right is terrible. I really hate this hatchery. I think it's a bad idea. He does split his army decently. Ooh, his tanks are here as well. Okay, Maru going for a very brave push. He's got a Liberator going down the left as well. Really trying to create problems for Solar. Solar's Vipers are on the way. His Lurkers are building, but notice he doesn't actually have any Lurker upgrades. So as decent as these Lurkers are, man, Maru really just piling on with the multi-prong pressure. This is the way Maru just gets so loose with his play against Solar in a good way, in like a just flowing between different attacks. Oh my god, that Liberator just took out 2 queens on the top left. The Marines are sniping the hatchery in the middle, and the drop still dancing around the back. This is what he does against Solar, is he just realizes, hey, I can be so nasty with my multi-prong, and Solar is losing so much mining. He's already lost so many workers. The tank's shelling. The Marines are in the back of the naval. It's looking over. That queen finally secures that Liberator kill, gets that one back to mining, but he's in trouble in the natural, and this is just nasty. It's the lack of anti-air here in this game, and being taken advantage of to the ultimate. Taking that hatchery on the right side seemed to open up some avenues, and the queens have just never been in the right position to stop these drops pretty much all series long. It feels like the queens are never in position. I don't know if Solar has a positioning issue. Oh, did he just abduct into... Oh, he had to do a second abduct because the Hydra's moved away. Okay, we'll gather more energy. At least he clears those drops up, but this hatchery is going to go down. Back to 3 base. Guess what? Terran's on 4, going on 5. 3-2 upgrades. Ghost Academy's on the way. He's on 8 barracks with 3 more tech labs for Ghost Marauder production. Solar has been put in the naughty corner of Zerg vs Terran, and he is looking desperate. He never even got the money to start his +2 carapace this game, which is one of the most important upgrades. And he's limping his way through this game. He has more supply. He has a big army. But he literally needs to go win the game with this army right now. Like, he needs to stop building drones and just go for a big shove against this many tanks and libs. He's going to need the Blinding Clouds of all Blinding Clouds to do it. He doesn't even have max energy on the Vipers. He does have 8 Lurkers, which is decent. I mean, if he catches the army just sitting in the middle like that, like I told you guys, Maru plays really risky against Solar. He just looks like he has no fear, and it's because Solar's not punishing him for just leaving his army sitting out in the middle of nowhere, splitting it up in 4 or 5 places. It feels like Maru always has a read on what Solar's doing, and Solar needs to find a way to defy those expectations. And in this scenario right now, it looks like he's just going to try and recover in the macro game. He does have both Lurker upgrades. Both Hydra upgrades are on the way. The first one's about to finish. A few Vipers can definitely help out here. Roaches on the left, clean up the double drop. Nice positioning for Solar. But he's got to be careful. Even those 2 Vikings, you know, they damage these Vipers a lot. He needs to bring his queens forward, transfuse them. Where are those queens? Looks like they're out in the middle ground. Roaches from the left will come over to defend along with these queens. Queen's coming over there. Definitely needs to transfuse that Viper. So important. And he does top her up with a bit of a band-aid. Turrets being built on the front lines. Maru building 5 command centers behind this. Lurkers get a few good shots off on the bio, but Maru quickly turns back. Does not overcommit. On the left, a few roaches run forward. Siege tank will unsiege and deal with that last roach. Roach does not have a lot of damage, as you can see. A few Lings are going to follow up on that left side, but he sent a few more units to help reinforce. Maru siege tank shelling those Zerglings. Remember, the Zerglings don't have melee upgrades, so they will get hammered by the 2-2 bio. Especially with +3 about to come in. Looks like a queen does get picked off by those tanks there on the low ground. The orbitals coming in is crazy. There's too many orbitals at this point. The Iron Bank is being constructed, and Solar is barely hanging on to 4 base. He's going to go for what we call the Lurker YOLO. This can be a good move when you've got a bit of momentum and it catches the opponent off guard. But this right now is not going to achieve much. If he continues forward after being spotted like that, it's a bad move. Solar knows it. He pulls back because he is a very smart Zerg player. How do you deal with this positioning, though? Look at these tanks, these Vikings marching forward. I would say Solar needs to try to drone to 80 drones and transition to Broodlord Infestor. He knows that that's a pipe dream. Maru's already in the late game. He's like, look, it's now or never. I'm desperate, and I've got to do something extra desperate to give myself at least some chance of winning. He already loses half of his lurkers to snipes and tanks on the left side. He's just morphed another 11 lurkers. They're going to try to come over here, but the sensor towers give Maru so much warning. He EMPs both of the Vipers as well. The bio is here. Maru scanning, sniping. This is only a small section of Maru's army, and it is cleansing his first wave of lurkers. Second wave of lurkers comes in behind it, though. Solar's got a big pack of lurkers coming forward. Maru a little slow to lift that base, loses a lot of SCVs, some nice damage coming in. Maru now, you can see he's unsieging his tanks, he's bringing them back. There's no way Solar gets any deeper. Those tanks are there. He's going to try to shove in with these unsupported lurkers. They are getting hammered by the bio tank. And Solar, he knew he had to make something happen there. He went for the desperate attack with the mass lurker. Did not work out. Maru just picking him apart. The multi-prong was absolutely brutal that game. Maru just kept throwing angles at him until something stuck. What a great way to adapt to his opponent. Maru playing like that specifically to take advantage of Solar from the very start of the series right up to the end. GG, well played.